Everybody, we back. Pierre, where the fuck you at, man? Hip hop needs y'all. Someone asked me, I think it was Darrell. I hope I'm getting your name right, homie. Please, correct me in the comment section. But of the leaks, this is definitely one of my favorite ones, Hellcat. But I always love this beat. There's just something magical about it, to be honest with you. It's a little sad actually, but it bumps and it's kind of it's evocative. And speaking of evocative, y'all want me to talk about let's see, Kendrick Lamar performing at the Super Bowl. Well, I'll make this brief. I don't give a shit. Is Drake gonna be there? Well, Drake's already gonna be there. In fact, the fact that Kendrick is performing at the Super Bowl means that it's a Drake Super Bowl, right? Because what does Kendrick have other than Drake hate? Yeah, I just don't care in the grand scheme of things. The argument between Wayne should have got it and people on the internet being mad about that, to me is it's kind of pointless in the grand scheme of things, because Kendrick is the new Lil Wayne, and I've said this before, so it makes sense for the Super Bowl to go with Kendrick over Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne has no joints worth hearing, in my opinion, really, especially in 2024. What's he gonna do? Get on stage and do Lollipop? That shit's boring. Millie, yeah, it's cool, but again, that's more of a novelty type of song, and it was cool for its time, but it's not some shit that I'm listening to or really give a fuck about. So if you're gonna do some novelty shit, you might as well go with the newer novelty rapper who right now is making a career off Drizzy, right? Listen, at the end of the day, right? Hip hop, as with actually art going downhill, and I talked about this in my community post when I was talking about Youssou Dour. That's for a longer conversation I'm going to have about music falling the fuck off. I've said it a lot on this channel, so it's nothing new in terms of my perspective. But the point is, hip hop in particular has turned into a clout game. It's all about clout, right? And clout, aka self-promotion. So it's like, what can I do that gets me to the next level of self-promotion? The artists have this mentality, and certainly the audience themselves have this mentality. So everything is about promoting themselves. And the artists that they listen to, in a lot of ways, are vehicles for their own self-promotion. It's a completely different ballgame, which is why one of the big reasons why the music is garbage, in my opinion. Now, I mention this because Kendrick Lamar is a clout machine. I've always said that he's the most marketed rapper probably of this entire era. And, he has a lot of racial relationships. His whole thing is relationships and narrative and clout and what's the next thing. And look at how huge he is, right? Every time. But the music is like obviously weak and is not going to stand for anything. But again, he's very much in the vein of his predecessor, Lil Wayne. So, between the two of them, like I have no sort of say in terms of who I prefer to be at the Super Bowl. They're both whack to me. But clout in, clout out is all I say. And the way that Lil Wayne's whole discography has no real value, and I know I say that as a harsh comment to make, but in hip hop, we don't really care about Lil Wayne. The luster of the greatest rapper ever and all that marketing shit, it can't last. What lasts is the music. And Lil Wayne doesn't have nearly the respect of someone that you would claim to be one of the greatest rappers ever. He just doesn't have it. His music hasn't stood up, and frankly, he's a has-been. Now, I think the same thing will obviously happen to Kendrick, because again, there's only so far that clout can take you. But, clout still is in Kendrick's MO right now. He's still somewhat young enough in a sense. There's always going to be a newer artist that will come along on the scene after Kendrick is done. And Kendrick is, I wouldn't say he's on his way out, but he's probably on his way out, all things considered. And then there'll be a new clout, mediocre rapper that makes music for casuals, and they'll be hyped as the next thing, the greatest thing. But the music will be substandard, and then we'll forget about Kendrick's music. That's how these things go. Now, in terms of whether or not Lil Wayne deserves to perform at the Super Bowl, ultimately, like I said, it doesn't really matter to me. I think what people are seeing and blaming Jay and all that stuff, again, I wouldn't know. I'm not in the music scene. I'm not privy enough to the, conversations in the boardroom. But I do think that to a certain extent, it shows you that a lot of things in hip hop are political, right? And it's not about what one deserves in a sense, but much more about what one can get. And you have the right relationships, and there are gatekeepers. I think it's interesting that we're having a conversation about performing at Super Bowl, and it seems that the person who has the power to do that is Jay-Z. Again, old niggas run you niggas. That's just, I keep saying this, right? The game is rigged, okay? And hip hop, a once vibrant art form where it felt like new, brilliant ideas could come in, and if you were really dope enough, like again, like someone like a Rakim or a Nas, if you really had that next level shit, that you could come in and make something and become something great. But hip hop is a long ways from that, unfortunately, now. And now it's very much run by the old greats. And the new niggas have no interest in making anything powerful. So yeah, the old giants, the Jays and the Nas's of the world are just going to continue to run you. And, frankly, they can pick and choose whoever the fuck they want to be the next goats, whatever, for that generation. But they know, and I know, that those people that they choose are disposable. And just as Wayne has been disposable, so will Kendrick eventually in his time. So I think that's that. A lot of this stuff is political, a lot of cosigns and all that kind of stuff. And again, for you to not notice it is almost kind of like, like, are you paying attention to what's going on? Again, I always stress this. This is why I don't care about cosigns. Marketing and stuff doesn't do much for me. I know good shit when I hear it because I've been listening to rap a long time and I love it. So it's just a thing. Like, once you have that ear for it, you have that love for something, you ain't gotta hear what someone tells you. It doesn't really matter, right? You listen to the music for what it is. Yeah, so that's my opinion on it. Long story short, listen, more power to Kendrick, man. Like, at the end of the day, I don't remember even really watching the Snoop and Dre Super Bowl halftime show anyway. So I might have seen part of it. Oh, I saw part of it because I remember 50 hanging upside down. So I'll probably watch some of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, listen, Kendrick, go all out with the Drake hate because that's kind of all you got, right? You haven't gotten any joints. Start off, have a giant inflatable of Drizzy and maybe like some children walking up to it or some shit, and just act out the whole Not Like Us, and then you got to play Not Like Us like 12 times, right? Because we'll still give a fuck about Not Like Us in February. Oh my god, this game is something else, man. Anyway, talk to y'all later.